class, second session of week 8, and it is our mid-semester assessment. So we're doing the exact same exercises we did the first time, and just a reminder that this is just a demonstration of the exercises. Watching this and practicing this is for you to get help, assistance through the exercises if you can't remember them on the form. And then you can write down your results while you're going through this on a piece of paper, and then you'll just transfer those results to the form. Now the form is worth the points, right, for the assessment, and that's the form that you used in the very beginning. You downloaded the form, you put in your results, and then you saved the form, and then you sent it to me. So that form should be on your computer. So you're basically just gonna open that form and plug in your results under all the number 2s, that's that middle column with all those blank lines. Okay, so it's the second time we've done this. And then you'll save the form and then you'll send it to me, okay? So that's worth your points. You'll notice that in the Canvas. And then also you'll be looking for that weekly connection for week 8. Okay, so that's worth your 5 points as well. So again, I'm just gonna talk you and walk you through the exercises. Some of them I'll just have you go ahead and do on your own. So I'll say, go ahead and pause the video and then come back. And that just means pause it, do it, then press play, and then we're gonna move on to the next one and the next one, okay? Some of them I'll go through with you though. Okay, so let's go ahead and go right into the breath duration. So that's the first one. And just a reminder that we're just breathing one time. So we're taking a deep, slow inhale and then transitioning slowly into a really long, big exhale. And we're just counting how many seconds that one breath takes, okay? So you need a clock, a timer, your phone, something. You can look at a clock on the wall if you have it, or your watch. And you're going to start the clock when you start to inhale, and then you're going to stop the clock once you're done exhaling. So when you're done with that one breath, you'll have a time and you'll put that time under your breath duration, okay? So just a couple of cues about doing that. You'll do this on your own. You want to breathe really deeply and slowly. So when you start to inhale, either through your nose or your mouth, it's up to you, you're going to do this very slowly. And then when you get to the point of that transition where you need to exhale, that's when you're really going to slow it down and push that breath out very slowly and as far out as you can. And then when you're done, you're done. And then you'll write that time on your results for breath duration, number 2. And then you'll come back, so to me, for the next exercise. So go ahead and pause the video, do your breath duration, and then come on back. Okay, so we just did the breath duration, so we're gonna go ahead and warm up before we do any of our exercises for testing. So let's go into our chest expansion. And down for cat and cow. And dynamic. And seated position for our hip circles. So just slightly lean back, elevate, and circle. And reverse. And switch legs. And reverse. Okay, so our first test of all the exercises is our 100. So what we are doing for the 100 is exactly what we do every session, right? Except that the leg hold is going to be a low leg hold. So I'm going to demonstrate it with the showing of the leg hold, and then everything else is the same that we've been doing for 8 weeks. You're going to count how many pumps to 100. If you get to 100, then you're done. Then you're going to put 100 in your result for the 100, okay? If you don't get to 100, meaning your head comes back or your legs come down, you stop prior to 100, you're going to make sure you're keeping count so you know what to write down. So obviously it's what you complete. So if you do, 80 pumps or 8 breaths, right? 8 breaths is 80 pumps. Then you're going to write down 80. If you don't get quite to 90, you'll still write 80. So that's what you're going to write down. So if you had anything less than 100 in your first result, we're just going to see if we can pass that up, right? So make sure that you're keeping count. 5 pumps for the inhale, 5 pumps for the exhale is 10 total pumps or 1 total breath. And we're not going past 100 at all. So if you put 100 in your first result, you're still going to 100, okay? All right, so let me show you the demonstration. So I'm really lowering my legs so that my legs are just above my hip height. Okay, see that? And then everything else is the same. I'm just going to continuously pump, breathe, and count. If my legs start to come down, then I'm done. If my head starts to come back, then I'm done. Okay, so just make sure you keep count. Go ahead and pause the video and do your 100 and then come on back. Okay, so you just finished your 100 exercise and you're ready to go for Fab 5. So Fab 5 is those 5 exercises: the single leg, the double leg, the crisscross, the single straight, and the double straight. So the first time we did this, we all did it the exact same way, and that was with 5 repetitions of all 5 exercises, okay? If you put a 5 in your result, that means you did all 5 exercises. You completed them with 5 repetitions. That's what that means. If you had a 4 or a 3 or a 2 or a 1, that means that you only completed that number of the Fab 5 exercises at 5 reps. So if you put a 4, that means that you did single leg, double leg, crisscross, single straight with 5 repetitions before you stopped. If you put a 3 in there, that means you did single leg, double leg, crisscross at 5 repetitions, but then you stopped, okay? So if you have a 4 or less in your first result, you're going to do exactly the same test we did the first time. You're going to try and complete 5 repetitions of the 5 exercises, okay? If you put a 5 in that first result, you're going to increase the repetitions. So maybe 6 of the 5 exercises, maybe 7 of the 5 exercises, just depending on what you think you can do. So if you attempt 7 repetitions of that Fab 5 and you don't complete that 5th exercise or that 4th exercise, right, doing the 7, you're going to write down in that second result slot that you attempted 7 of the 5 and you finished 3 or 4. So just write a little descriptor there, okay? All right, so I'm going to demonstrate the exercises, what it looks like, and then you'll be able to do this on your own, okay? So remember, we've done this before, many of the exercises. Single leg is a traditional single leg. So I have to pull my right leg and then my left leg for it to count as 1. And then I go on to do 5 of those, okay? And then I'm going to go into my double leg. And I'm pulling my knees in, I'm reaching back, full arm sweep. It's a traditional double leg. I'm going to do 5 of those. And then I'm going to do my traditional crisscross. Left knee in, right knee in is 1. And I'll do 5 of those. And then when I'm done with that, I go into my single straight, right leg in, left leg in, that's 1. And then I do 5 of those. And then my final exercise is double straight, 5 of these, traditional. Okay? So that's what you're doing. No resting in between. 5 continuous, 5 repetitions each. And when you're done, put your result in and then come on back. So you can go ahead and pause the video now and attempt your Fab 5. Okay, so you just completed your Fab 5. Hopefully you were successful, more successful than the first one, your improvement. We're going to go into our roll up. And so if you remember what you did for your first roll up, if you were able to complete an actual traditional full roll up, you would have put one roll up. Maybe, I don't know if you put any more than that, but if you weren't able, you would have put like a little description of where you got stuck. So maybe you put upper back off floor, right? Or mid back, or just shoulder blades, right? Or head. So we're gonna attempt the same roll up. If you put 1 or more, we're gonna see if we can go a little bit more than the first time, okay? So we don't want to go too many more because we still have some more exercises to do, but we just want to show some improvement, okay? So I'm going to demonstrate the roll up and then you'll be able to do this on your own. It is straight leg and it is a full arm sweep. So I start with my arms behind my head. I sweep my arms, I roll up, I reach forward, come back down, and that's 1. And then if I want to do 5, just to show improvement, I'm going to see if I can do 5 or however many I'd like to do, okay? So that's what you're doing for roll-up. So go ahead and pause the video and then do your roll-up exercise and then come on back. Okay, so you just finished your roll-up exercise, testing for that. We're going to go up into our push-up leg pull-down. So in your first result, you would have circled either modified or traditional of how you practiced or tested for your push-up leg pull-down. The modified is with the knees down. The traditional is with the knees off the floor. If you want to change the way that you do the exercise or test the exercise the second time, so maybe you did modified the first time and now you want to challenge yourself and see how many traditional ones, just put a little traditional underneath the line of the second line. And it just shows that you've changed it, okay? So we're just gonna see if we can pass up the first result. So let me demonstrate the modified first. So the knees are down, hips are down. We do a push-up. We come into high plank. We lift one leg, we pull down. We switch the other leg, we pull down. And then we bring our knees down, that's 1. And then we continue on, okay? Traditional is obviously knees off the floor, push up, leg back, and continuous. So make sure you keep count of how many you do. Decide which style you'd like to do. Go ahead and pause the video and then come on back. Okay, so you did your push-up leg pull down. Hopefully you were successful with improvement there as well. We're going to go into our spine stretch. So the positioning of the legs is really important. We started with our feet right outside the width of our mat. We're going to go ahead and practice some spine stretches just to warm up before we actually test. So go ahead and reach up, pitch forward, and breathe and stretch. Okay, so the test is where your hands fall to the mat, okay? So you would have written down like a little descriptor of where your hands connected to the mat on this. So this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna reach up, we're doing this together. We're gonna lean forward as far as we can and then drop our hands. So then I look at my hands and I say, my wrists are at my heels. That's what I'm gonna write, wrists at heels. Or for you maybe fingertips at heels or fingertips at ankles, right? Somewhere where you stop and your hands come down. You're just gonna maybe wrists at mid-shin, whatever it is. Go ahead and write that down for your number 2 result for spine stretch. And then we're gonna move on to our Superman pulls. Superman pulls. Go ahead and turn over onto your tummies. So our arms are outstretched, leading our head here. We're going to keep our arms slightly bent. And now the Superman, remember we lift our arms and our legs. And then we pull the elbows back at the sides. Arms back to start. And then we lower the arms and the legs. That's 1. And then I'm going to do this continuous, keeping count until I stop or I've maybe passed up my first result, okay? So go ahead and pause the video, do your Superman pulls, and then come on back. All right, you guys, so you're done with your Superman pulls. We're done with the assessment, except you need to address your personal goals at the bottom. All I want you to do at this time is look over your goals and see if you've accomplished any already. If you have, I want you to write somewhere that you have, right? And if you'd like to keep those goals and maybe just increase the numbers or the distance or whatever your goal is, if you want to keep it and change it, modify it, go ahead and do that. So you're going to put a line underneath those goals and then, or next to those goals if you want to keep it, change the number. If you want to add any goals for the next 8 weeks to be able to accomplish them by the end of the semester, you can put a line at the bottom of those goals and add some goals at the bottom. Just keep in mind the time, there's 8 more weeks. Keep in mind, you know, what you've done so far, right? What you've accomplished so far. So if you feel like, you know, you could really increase, you know, your upper body strength, be very specific about what that means. So, you know, I want to be able to do 5 traditional push-up leg pull downs if I can only do, you know, maybe 8 modified. So I think that's something that's realistic. So, so go ahead and do that, and then you are done. So just make sure that you plug your results into the form, save the form, and then you're going to send it back to me. Go to the weekly connection, answer the question, and then I will see you next week. Good job.